All right, so hopefully you can hear me. I'm gonna create a video that shows you how to do a couple things. One, I want to give you a brief overview of the InPlace platform screen. So I have given a couple people clinical coordinator access so that they are able to update student placement or shift a student if they need to. So right now, this is what my home screen looks like. You can see over here on the left that I have these. I don't have any active requests out right now. I've accepted everything in placement for fall of 2026. Currently, we only have 56 slots that are extra, and most of those are from our makeup weeks. Okay, so we can utilize those at the end if we need to and put students in those spots. I do have outstanding student prerequisites, and that is because Monday, when school starts, I will update all the prerequisite information in their spreadsheets, and then I'll upload it in here, and it'll populate that they are compliant with all the things that they should be compliant for. So I'll do that on Monday, and then this number should mostly go away unless they're missing a few things. So that's kind of what this looks like. The biggest thing I want to show you guys is if you have a student who needs updated from, like, say, one day to another, they can't come one day, you got to put them on a makeup day, and you need to take them off their regularly scheduled clinical, what you're going to do is you're going to go over here to placement, and you're going to go to search placement, okay? And it'll populate basically everything that we have currently. You have to use some filters to make sure that you are doing it correctly and you're not seeing things, because you can see like some of these have been canceled. They were entered in error. So what you have to do is go over to the status bar and hit accepted, and then hit filter, because you only want to see the things that are accepted. You don't want to see anything else. So you're going to do that, and then so we'll give an example. And we'll say we're not going to filter it down by agency right now, because if you can filter it down by date for the most part, you'll be able to tell what students are on what day. If you wanted to and say I had students at Southwest, I had students at Canadian Valley, and I only wanted to see Southwest, I could put that in here. But I don't want to do that right now. So what I do want, though, is I'm going to give you an example. So if you need to change a student from a day that they're scheduled on, so let's say that for whatever reason, the second week of clinical, which will be this week, March 12th, September 7th, say someone can't attend their clinical this week. And so maybe on my Tuesday daytime group, I have somebody who can't attend. So I'm going to click Tuesday, and you're going to click that date twice, because it's going to be both your start date and your end date. And then you're going to hit filter. And it's going to pull up all of my students that are actually here on September the 8th, okay? So you'll see who's already scheduled for this day. So let's say for some reason that Aubrey can't come, and she needs another day, okay? I'm going to actually take this, and I'm going to click on her name, and I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to scroll all the way down. So she's a previous student, which means that she has records in, so that's why this looks like this. She has stuff in from last year, but it gives you all the student information over here on the side. But if she can't come, I'm going to hit remove, and it's going to take her out of that slot, okay? Now, by doing that, this slot is now open, but I also need to let my clinical instructor know that, hey, Aubrey's going to be gone, and I'm changing her to such and such date. So, so let's say that Aubrey couldn't come September the 8th, and I want to put her on my very last makeup week, which is going to be down here at the very end of November, beginning of December. So she's a Tuesday, so I'll just naturally put her in on a Tuesday daytime, and because I know I have built-in days for this reason. So I'm going to put my start date and my end date. Actually, sometimes you have to refresh it, but come down, put your start date and your end date as September or December 1st. It's being finicky, sorry. Okay, so now it has my start date and end date as the same day, which is December 1st, which is where I want her. I'm going to hit filter again, it's going to pull me up for December 1st, and these are all of the dates or all of the slots I have available on December the 1st, and they're all open. So you don't see any student assigned, you don't see any supervisor assigned. So say Aubrey needs this makeup day, what I'm going to do for her is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, okay, I'll put you on IMC for December 1st as your makeup date. I'm going to hit the student tab over there, and then I'm going to find Aubrey. You can just simply type in their name. Hit it here. Make sure she populates. And then you're going to hit add at the bottom, and that has put her on that day. Now, the only other thing we need to make sure of is when we get closer to these makeup dates, is that we know what supervisors are taking what days. So ideally, we're just going to keep it with the supervisor on that day. So, Monday's group's going to stay with Mondays. Clinical instructor Tuesdays stays the same. So ideally, if we have enough students in that makeup slot and she can't make it up in a different area, right? I'm going to put the regular instructor on there. So Tuesday's probably going to be Charity. So if I needed to, I would put Charity in this role, and I would just find her, put her in here, and populate her, and then add her. I'm not going to add her right now because I don't know if I'm actually going to need to use this. I'm actually going to go ahead and take Aubrey off of this right now. That was just an example. The other thing you can do for students, like say she did miss her September 1st, let's go back to September actually. So say she missed her very first clinical on that second week of clinical, so September the 8th. Okay, so September 8th is selected, all right? I'm going to go back and look at that, and I'm going to be like, oh yes, I took Aubrey off of that day, right? But I know that maybe she could do like Thursday evening that week. I can look at Thursday evening, and I can see if there's any Thursday evening availability, which it looks like we have one on IMC. So if Aubrey is okay with it, and the instructor's okay with it, I could put Aubrey on that Thursday evening instead of that Tuesday to make up her clinical and keep her within that same week or that same time frame. I do that pretty frequently if somebody's missing something or I have an actual excused absence from clinical. I could also look in the next week and say, hey, I know you're going to be at clinical on the 15th. So we'll look and see where she's at on the 15th. Looks like she's going to be in post-op recovery. But if you could do maybe Thursday or Friday, or maybe Monday or Thursday, I know I have clinical spots those days too. So I could look on Thursday and see on the 17th if I have anything available, and I do. And so if she needed to make up her missed September 8th clinical, I could also put her on September 17th if I needed to. So there's options throughout the semester for them to find a makeup day. You just have to find an open slot, okay? And make sure that the instructor's okay with that. Let's go back. So I'm actually going to go back and put Aubrey on the original day she was scheduled on, just because I don't want to mess anything up. So we'll go back to the 8th. I'm going to put Aubrey back on peri-op where she was. And this sometimes gets a little finicky. You have to click exactly on the little person. So that's how switching a student in and out of a slot works. They're all already pre-assigned for this entire semester. So any day you look at, so you'll see if I go to September 7th, this is what my Monday group looks like. Okay, if I go to September 8th, this is my Tuesday group. If I do I don't have any Wednesdays, so if I do the Thursday, you're going to see, I want to point something out on this. This is why I'm doing this. So if I go to the 10th, you're actually going to see, Thursday the 10th, you're going to see my sophomores populate on that day. And then if I do Friday the 11th, I actually don't have anybody on that Friday. Now, however, when you get to later in the semester, when freshmen also start clinical, which is going to be this week right here, you're actually going to start seeing some of our sophomores and freshmen populate in the whole list, okay? So, for example, I know that I'm going to have a Friday daytime group, a Thursday evening group. What else do I have? Let's see. I think that's going to be it. So I know I have for example, I know I'm going to have Friday the 9th, okay, of October, and I know that I'm going to have students. So these are, I'm sorry, I don't have two groups that day. These are going to be my freshman students. They start clinical that week, so these are going to be freshmen. Another way you can tell is by the year level. So they're all designated out by year level, so you just need to pay attention to what year level they are, and it'll tell you what semester they're actually in. So if you get to a date and you're confused, just make sure you're looking at that. Thursday, the 8th, is a day that we have more than one group happening through the Integra system. So let's look at that date. So if I filter the 8th, it's going to pull up everybody that I have for 2 places. So you'll see all my third semester students here. They're at ICBH, and they're all pre-populated and scheduled, okay? And their supervisor scheduled on there. And then if you look down here, all my first semester students are at Integris Baptist Portland, and they're scheduled here with the clinical instructor also scheduled. So just keep in mind what group, if you have to reschedule a student, they're tagged by semester. Make sure you're looking at the correct date to take them off of and putting them in the date that they can actually do, and make sure that it's okay with the instructor. And then I always, anytime I make a student switch, I always automatically go back to my email, and I email both the student and the instructor, the course instructor and the clinical instructor at that same time, so that everybody's on the same page and knows, hey, such and such is moving off of this clinical day to this clinical day, and I'm just verifying it through email. They'll be on this floor at this time. So that's really it on student switches. I'm going to end this